Hi, my name is Ernie Kleinman. In this segment, we're going to be gluing the Hawaiian Tenor Ukulele on the back first. You can either do the top first or the back. I prefer to do the back. And in this segment over here, I'm going to be using some Gorilla white glue, but you can use Tight Bond or Elmer's if you want a slower setting time. So first I'll start at the blocks, put a little bit of glue on the block over here, and then I'll put some more on the front block. And I'll slowly go all around the top kerfing and put glue all over the top here. Dribble it out. You don't want too much glue. If you put too much glue on there, you'll be spending a lot of time with a rag cleaning it up. Just enough to get it on there and lay it out with a nice thin glue brush. You want a nice, even, clean glue joint between your back and your sides. And on this particular Hawaiian uke, the back is tapered from front to back and side to side. If this is your first uke, I would just make the sides the same height on the front and the rear blocks, so you won't have to fool around flattening the blocks at an angle, which can get kind of tricky. If you're not familiar with it, you might want to make your front block the same height as your back block. In this segment it's tapered. So I'm slowly laying out the glue over here on the top and slowly dragging the glue across the brush and slowly bringing it out here. And I don't like to set, once I've finished gluing, I don't like to immediately set the top or back on. I like to let the glue harden up just a little bit so it gets tacky, because the glue has a tendency at the beginning to be a little slippery. There's a little bit of slipping going on, a little bit of sliding, and so it doesn't hurt to wait a minute or two or 30 seconds or whatever you have. As you can see over here, I've got glue all around the top and the sides. And on the back over here, I've just basically used solid kerfing. And I'll wipe off any excess glue with a rag. You can use a damp rag or a dry rag. And I'll clean up around the edges. Okay, very carefully. Very, very carefully. And then go around on the back side, come back around again, clean off any drips, because it's a lot harder to clean off dried glue than it is while it's still wet. It's a lot easier to do while it's still wet. The next step is we'll take the back and carefully line up the back center stripe with the back mark on our butt strip and our mold. So lay the back down very, very carefully. Okay, I'm going to start my way to the back and work my way forward. Okay, so in this sequence over here, I'm going to use 2 clamps to clamp on the back very, very slowly, very carefully. And I'll come back down over here, oops, and try and line this up as best as I can. There we go. It's just already moving on me. It helps. Doesn't hurt to have an extra hand while you're doing this. It's definitely a big help. So I'll start gluing on. Yeah. And I'll get the front lined up at the same time, just a little bit. I'll take the second clamp. Okay. Bring that one down on the block very, very carefully. I'll check this one out again. Doesn't look too good. I don't like the way that one's sitting. As you can see, the back is already starting to move on me, so I don't like that too much, so I'm going to move it forward while I'm centering it. I don't like it, just got too much movement right now. The the back is moving too quickly. So I'm going to recenter it. Wipe this off with a rag. This can get very tricky. So take your time and be careful. I'm going to take a different kind of a clamp that has a longer reach on it. I'm going to use these clamps over here. Hopefully they'll reach a little better. Okay, we bring that one down right on top and try and center it at the same time. Easy to say, harder to do. Okay, so we've got it right just about where we want it. Move that over a tad. Pull it down a little harder. Okay, and the next step is to glue the front part. I'll demonstrate it right here. With the same sort of a clamp. I think I'm going to switch clamps over here. And get the front lined up to the center line very carefully. Release this one a little bit. Move that one slightly over. Release that one. Okay. Clamp it down again. Okay. Next step is to grab another clamp. I think I'm going to use the large clamps again. They seem to have more clamping pressure. The other ones just didn't have enough clamping pressure for my taste. And I'm going to come back in slowly, slowly, and I'm going to clamp the front block to the top, making sure all my center marks are lined up very carefully, as close as I can get them. And I'm going to glue that top down. Okay, I think we've got most of it down now. Okay, now I'll turn this around again, very slowly, and I'll start using clamshell clamps around the perimeter. Start at the back or front, wherever you feel comfortable. Just go along and tighten each one. Push it down as much as you can. Apply as much pressure as you possibly can. This wants to move on me. So, gingerly take this, keep moving. Yeah, clamping is always unpredictable. You never know what you're going to need. So always have more than you need in terms of clamps in case you run into a problem and it's not going out the way you want it to. Everything, according to Murphy's Law, will happen at the worst possible time, which makes things very unpleasant and very sticky. That one doesn't have enough tension on it, so I'll put it back over here. Okay. This one in here. Let's apply a little bit more pressure. Another one over here. And using this kind of a glue, typically you can take the clamps off in about an hour. If you use the traditional Elmer's white glue, you might want to wait an hour or two, depending on the amount of heat there is in your shop and the relative humidity.
1 minute.
Almost done. Here's the last segment. I'm doing the second half of the set of sides. Start a clamp over here. And that concludes the segment on gluing the back and the top. The top is done in a similar fashion to the back. Thank you.